The dinner bell rings from the inner belly of the Amber Falls. The majority of the shifts, save for third, heads into the cozy mess hall. I should move this over. That would be better. There we go. The rich smell of roasted nuts fills the air. The crew line up in front of where Cookie is. The gruff elder woman has her gray hair pulled back in a bun. Her simple brown dress is decorated with faded embroidered flowers, and a white apron is stained with age and with food.
We have fish tonight. We have to eat it before it goes bad. So I made sauteed frilled mushroom with grilled fish in a vert sauce.
Gaz cuts past the line and puts his tankard under the tap for grog.
There's hot grog in the kettle next to the coffee pot.
Gaz walks past her and ducks into the kitchen, while Larry holds out his bowl and stares glumly at its contents.
This food don't look like how you made it sound.
Cookie laughs and serves Thomas.
Gaz, bring out the coffee and biscuits.
Gaz leaves the kitchen carrying 2 brass kettles and a small gray biscuit box. He hands it off to Fern, who bounds back to the table and attaches it to one of the embedded grindstone holders. It clicks into place. Barnacle, Inu, and Bassianus look on as Fern opens the box like it was filled with gold and gems. To them, it is. The biscuits are a tradable commodity on the ship. Just one is worth a full shift's worth of chores. Everyone gets one at dinner. Kodrog holds his bowl out to be served, and in the other carries 2 stone mugs.
Evening to you, Cookie. Gaz. If you could fill my cups with coffee and grog, that would be much appreciated. Dashke, what tale shall we hear tonight?
Gaz looks to Cookie. Do you have something in mind?
I do, but we can do that later while I'm cleaning the kitchen.
Monsters. Creatures, horrors, and beasts.
Ooh!
Kodrog, do you want to start, since you asked about it?
Well, I suppose I can get you started. You know, that drunk at every dockside saloon who's always babbling about this creature and that creature that no one's ever seen or ever survived to tell the tale from?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they ever tell the tale of the Void Leviathan, just be sure to know it's true.
The Void Leviathan?
Oh, it's a enormous, vicious, vile creature that lurks the void deep throughout the Isles, navigating its way, searching for its next prey. It's, I know, not firsthand, but from stories of the dwarves that survived on my iron home when the Leviathan ambushed it, where the Caleb and the Great Northway trade winds cross. It was just 2 years past. It ravaged the iron home, tearing chunks of the Isle up clean off, and all the wonderful engineering of the dwarves couldn't keep it at bay.
That's terrible.
The damage was appalling, and so many lives were lost, until finally, after great devastation, my great-great-great-great-grandfather took up his Grandmaster's hammer, walked into the Leviathan's mouth, and forged its demise.
Oh.
So while our iron home lays in ruins, at least we've saved the rest of civilization from such a vile creature.
A worthy tale indeed.
Yeah.
I have one.
Oh.
A more common creature, perhaps. The crag viper is one creature that you do not want to come across. Thankfully, they stick close to empty holds and asteroid reefs. Unless you're farming coral or clingers, you probably aren't going to run across it. There I am. But then again, those wouldn't be the ones you'd have to worry about. They never stop growing, you see. As long as there's plenty of prey and no competition, they'll keep growing. Every year or so, they'll molt their old carapace off and grow a new, larger one to fill out. Their size isn't what makes them scary, though. But this certainly helps. They blend in to the rock and can stay motionless as long as they need to until some unsuspecting morsel floats by. Then, their legs shoot them forwards, faster than a cannon shot. Their large pincers trap their meal in like vice grips, and both predator and prey tumble through space in a fight to the death. They could keep going like that forever, but crag vipers have specialized hooks on their back legs to latch back onto rocks again so they can enjoy their meal. The lucky ones get big enough to hunt down full-grown men. I've heard tales of smaller void ships taking shortcuts through the reefs only to have empty vessels come out of the other side, blood spatter and claw marks being the only evidence they were once crewed. One crag viper was so infamous that a bounty was put on the beast. A group of dragon hunters ended up killing it, and they took its carcass back to Spindlehaven, where the claw, the giant pincer of this crag viper, hangs over the bar of... Do you know the name?
No, I don't spend much time in Spindlehaven.
It's the Viper's Claw.
Oh yeah, that's clever.
Very smart. They opened the bar just around that theme.
We should check it out the next time that we're in Spindlehaven.
We should.
Well, my story isn't as dire and terrible. I mean, you guys all have... So, as a little girl, my mom would always tell me about ribbon angels. They're one of the most beautifulest things in the void. They float through the Destel Nebula. They say that if you're injured, they'll heal you. And if you're lost, they'll guide you to safety. It's such a romantic idea. They look like big old winged people, but they're actually like jellyfish, and they're soft to the touch, and they smell like flowers. They're so very beautiful. And they don't eat people, and they don't drag you off to your doom, and they don't destroy homes. It is so wonderful. In fact, I love them. They're just... that's like a rainbow. They're beautiful like a rainbow. That's what I'm going to say. I think I'm done now. I feel weird on the inside. I need a cigarette. Anybody else?
I've read a story once that bothered me immensely. It was about a merchant vessel called the Grey Lady. You see, before the war in Iraq, it was used to move passengers and cargo along the southern coast. During the war, it was outfitted with guns and a larger crew. It was in the naval battle and in the Definous Isles between Navan Ural and King Nepeth Navy. That is, until it was destroyed in such a way where the hull was torn open. There's no records of any survivors. The next morning, the captains of both sides witnessed the fog rise and the water where the Grey Lady went down. The fog was cold and moved against the wind.
Oh my.
That
Witnesses...
sounds like magic.
Could have been anything. Witnesses said that they could see the Grey Lady in the fog. It began to attack all the vessels around it with unlimited ammunitions. And the crew of the Gilderdon, another ship at battle, saw the crew of the Grey Lady were still maintaining the damaged vessel. 2 of King Kadaph's vessels and 1 of the naval Urals were destroyed in the unnatural attack. Both navies turned their guns on the Grey Lady and calling a short truce. They record over 20 heavy cannons and were unable to stop the attack.
Oh my goodness.
Both Navan Ural and the heavy navy of the Kadaph called for a retreat. In the retreat is when the second vessel of Kadaph Navy and the Bordelman was destroyed.
Oh my.
I think I've heard of that.
They said they could hear the crew of the Bordelman screaming. The captain of Gilderdon wrote in his log that they were screaming in fear. One could be heard yelling, "They're eating us!" Another warning to jump in the water because it was alive. The water was alive.
Whoa.
Oh my. Sounds terrifying.
Yeah. So terrifying my hat falls off.
Thomas finishes, and Larry opens his mouth to speak, but is cut off by the sound of a warning horn. That's not a warning very much.
That's a good warning horn. I'm sorry. That's a good warning horn. That warns me to the core.
The horn is for everyone to don their warm gear and man the lines.
Oh, shit. Do I have a sweater near me? You can make that.
Most of the crew generally carries around a vestment nearby, something either tied to their waist or they're always wearing a coat that they can draw up quickly to protect themselves. The warning horn is because it's going to get cold real quickly. In the void, the trade winds have a tendency to be warm. Outside the trade winds, everything tends to be a bit colder. But they can get cold enough that there's a worry for lines to snap or people to freeze. So, the warning horn lets go, and what do you do, Jon?
I slam down my coffee, slam down my grog, gently place my mugs on the table, and wrap my warm weather cloak like up from around my waist over my shoulders and fasten it all together so I can stay warm as I'm getting up onto deck.
All right.
Got lines to handle.
And Thomas? What is Thomas going to do, Paige?
Thomas stands up after hearing it. Actually, he waits. He takes his time. He just kind of sits there for a moment. He takes a swig of his drink, and as he's watching everybody stand up, he just goes, "Okay." And he just sets down his drink, and he pulls on his jacket that he was sitting on, ties it tight around his chest, which his jacket, even though it's flowing magnificently and it looks awesome, they're actually held down by little lead weights, so he doesn't go flying around. Though it still is flowy enough that it looks badass. And he'll strap his collar on tightly so his neck's covered, and he'll head up.
All right. As you walk casually to the hatch, the stairway that leads to the top deck, Kodrog, you hustle to get up there to check the lines. Turning toward the bow of the ship, you can see a line of whiteness creeping down the Amber Falls. The whiteness is a wall of frosty air that is hitting the ship, causing things to frost over. The moisture, the atmosphere that's surrounding the ship is wet to some degree. And ahead of you, you can see, is it called a bifrost? Or hoarfrost.
Hoarfrost.
A hoarfrost is creeping across the ship, hitting the sails, and they're turning rigid and hard. As you begin witnessing this whole scene, Bon yells from the helm, "Loosen those lines! That silk will snap like a twig if they pull in the wrong way." And so riggers begin to dash to loosen lines. All right. Kodrog.
Yeah. So as I see the frost line coming up, I shove my hands down into the pockets on the side of my pants where I keep my thick gloves for when it's cold, so I can still work. They're so thick that I have to keep one in each pocket, so I doesn't not bulky. I start running up. You said it was coming from the bow.
Yes.
We're sailing into it.
Sailing right into it.
Oh my gosh, we're sailing right into the Grey Lady's trap.
You can't see any fog. You can't see anything. It's just getting really cold.
People are freaking out. Well,
I'm pretty sure.
everybody but third shift is starting to freak out. Let's put it that way.
Someone's yelling, "We're all gonna die!" Another one yells, "I don't want to get eaten."
So I don't believe in no ghosts. I'm gonna.
Fancy.
Yeah, I just I charge up to the bow to start grabbing these lines before they freeze solid.
All right. You get a -2 for working in the cold, and you get a -2 for... Well, okay. You get a -1 for using those gloves. Most riggers, which using the gloves is fine, most riggers suffer through the -2, and they'll stick their hands into their pockets where they have warming stones. Well, it's not really a pocket. It's kind of like this little pouch on their jacket where the warming stones have been sewn into.
Yeah.
I guess that's a pocket.
It is a pocket. It's like, the front pouch of a hoodie.
Yeah.
So, you stick your hands into there to warm up, and there's, tiny warming stones, the thin plate warming stones that have been cut and then sewn into the fabric. So that way you can put your hands in there, and they're like little hot hands, but...
Okay. So since that's a thing, I'm gonna ex-nay the gloves and say that I've got the little, babushka pocket.
Yeah. We can take a step back. I mean, you come from a dwarven society. You guys probably have an isotoner glove that has bits of warming stones sewn into certain places to keep your hands warm.
Yeah, right? So it's those stones are sewn into the back of the hand so that it doesn't affect your dexterity at all. But
I like that.
So get the.
And if you're a very rich dwarf, you'll probably have slivers of warming stone that would go over your knuckles and your fingers on the top of them. But I don't know if you're a very rich dwarf.
No.
Or else you wouldn't be working as a rigger.
Yeah. I'm a working dwarf. So.
Right.
Gotta bring home the bacon somehow.
I will say that means you won't suffer a penalty from the cold or from the gloves because we're going to go with that. But you still need to make a crewmanship roll.
All right.
Thomas, you get to the top deck by the time the hoarfrost washes past the entrance to the galley below. The heat from the kitchen is definitely going to fight back this massive cold, but when it hits you, it goes straight to the bone.
Yeah.
So your face is now chilled. If you have facial hair, your facial hair now has bits of frost quickly forming on it, just like the tips of everything. What is Thomas doing?
Thomas, as he feels that chill, kind of does that thing where he bundles up even more, and he takes the heavy scarf that's around his neck, mainly for fashion, but it's actually useful, and he puts it up around his nose. And you said most of the crew's kind of panicking at this point?
Yes. You have just told an amazing ghost story, and everybody is believing now that maybe you have channeled the spirit of the Grey Lady, and it had called her presence to the Ember Falls.
Everybody has been secretly whispering about Master Thomas and his spell casting.
Thomas kind of just stands there. He looks over at the fog, and he just goes, "Oh shit." And I'm gonna cast Mage Hand to see if I can help out with some of these rope lining things, though I know nothing about them.
Obviously,
I still want to help.
Ropes.
Because you call them ropes. That's how
I called them rope liney things. All right, give me some credit. Awesome. Give me some credit.
While casting Mage Hand, you will still have some dexterity with it, so you can just make a dexterity check to assist someone.
I'll assist my very best friend, Kodrog.
Okay. Bassianus, I just want to point out, he comes from an area of plains. Even though he's furry, this is cold. He's putting on a jacket.
Well, I mean, he is shirtless.
He is shirtless most of the time. But so he's donning a jacket at this point in time. And as you cast the spell and begin manipulating it, Bon is yelling to people to loosen lines and prep things and whatnot. And she will yell to you, if you've got something that'll get us out of this, anytime you're ready to do it would be great. And as you turn to look at her to maybe respond, the captain, who is standing in his door, says, no.
I'm sorry, I'm the captain.
Oh, yes.
No.
Good line.
We can sail through this. This is no mystical, magical fog. Keep the silks from snapping, and we'll get through it just fine.
Aye, sir. Then Thomas will turn and instead of casting Mage Hand, can I cast Animated Rope? Even though these aren't ropes, they're lines, but they're still rope.
Animated line.
Animated
line. Because I don't have any dexterity. I just have a solid 10, so I don't have any modifiers.
Sure.
So.
All right. I don't see a reason why not. So you're going to animated rope to assist Kodrog.
Yes.
All right. Kodrog, what did you roll on your crewmanship?
I rolled a 10 on my crewmanship
Oh.
total.
I hope that you can roll. Does
That's bad.
does the line get a roll?
The line?
The magic line?
The magic line doesn't. She's assisting, so I mean.
Doesn't mean if she assists, it's a +2.
Yeah.
So it's a 12.
It's
So
12.
it's 12. You are
Yeah,
having
so.
difficulty, even though the line is moving and with you and working.
So the cold
Oh, yes. She's got
is so biting. You slipped on your gloves. Everything's fine. But even with them, just the backs of your hands are mildly warm. The warmth doesn't go down your fingertips. And so as you're trying to struggle with this, you feel your joints aching and like your knuckles pop from the cold, and you look and your fingers are starting to turn blue.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, that's a good reaction.
12 is good enough to pass. In fact, 12 was the DC check that you needed. It's the condition. So as you've released the line and it's beginning to do it, loosen and whatnot, and crawl away from you, you've stopped to look at your hands, and you can see that you're shaking at this point in time. Other riggers who have done pretty much, I'm checking on the rest of the riggers seem to be doing that. Mainsail, mast sail.
Oh, one didn't do so good.
Okay. As you are hanging out, you're on the main mast. The foremast rips. The foremast is
Well, not the mast.
not the mast, the sail.
Not the sail. The line. The line snaps.
The line snaps. Even better. So as you get to witness who's on that one.
Well, it's not Larry because Larry's
No.
not allowed to do that.
Fucking
Dimitri.
I think it's Dimitri.
All right,
Yeah.
you see the line snap and Dimitri go whipping off the side of the ship.
Hopefully Dimitri tied himself down.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I use my animated rope to grab his ankle or something?
The animated line is very entwined to the ship's working. It will take you at least 3 rounds to undo it enough to latch on to Dimitri as he goes flinging off.
So
there-
I'm gonna
Sorry,
I'm gonna
go
look
for
for his lifeline and see if I can grab it and start hauling him in.
Let's see if he remembered. Dimitri's a good sailor. You do see it.
it. Oh,
He has a line.
He has a line, but as you watch it spin out, you realize that it's also silk. There's a chance that
Shit.
it could snap.
Oh man. Well, I mean, yeah, I've got to catch him though.
You might not. You might just get taut, and then you can pull himself back in.
Yeah, so I'm gonna oh god. So the line is reeling out. I don't want to stick my hand in a loop of it.
I mean, maybe the rope burn will warm up your fingers.
Maybe. Oh, so I'm gonna pull my axe and catch a loop in the haft. So like scoop it up and then like hold the haft like this to catch the loop of the line.
Okay. All right.
And then and try and brace myself to catch it to like stop him.
Okay, fair enough. This is like a reverse bull rush. So it's your CMB versus the CMD of the situation. And I will set that at 14.
You're so generous.
Yeah, I'm going to have, so if he does terrible, the line's going to snap and will be one less crew then.
That's true.
I hope not. Damien was very nice to Thomas the very first zero session.
Dimitri's a good
Dimitri's
guy.
a really good guy.
I got an 18.
All right.
Nice.
Describe it.
So as the line is being pulled out farther and farther, I draw my axe off my belt and scoop up one of the loops, like not the top loop that's about to go off, but a couple below, so I've got some time to get a good hold on it. And as the line is getting ready to pull taut, I brace my feet against the railing of the ship and lock the haft in against my chest to like put my full body weight against it as it pulls taut, so that we can save Dimitri.
When you do this, the line becomes taut and he swings into the ship based upon where you're located at, which allows him to grab the railing, pull himself on, and reattach his boots, all in one pretty deft maneuver.
Yes. Dimitri is quite nimble. It was just a unfortunate accident.
Yeah.
As you two have come to make sure that he's okay, and yells out again, "Secure the lines on the foresail. They're loose. We need to get those under control." Now, she yells.
Yeah, I'm gonna sprint over to the foremast and start climbing the rigging to get to the loose lines.
Okay, Thomas.
You said one snapped, right?
Line snapped.
I'm casting spells. Hold on. I know it falls off, but I'm casting spells. I'm gonna cast mending if I can from this distance.
The two
I believe I
ends
can.
need to get close enough together. So you either wait until they whip around to be by each other, or
She can use her
Animated lines?
animated lines to bring the two together and then mend them.
There we go.
There you go.
I'll do it that way.
That sounds like fun. I like that idea.
okay, let's do that.
That does sound like fun.
Yeah, so
You wanna
I'll
Let her describe it.
Would you like to describe?
yes, please.
Go for it.
Yeah, so Thomas, he has his hat on and he looks amazing in the wind. And icicles are forming on the rim of the hat. And he basically speaks in Draconic and moves his arms around, and with one hand he controls the rope and the other he starts doing this motion that I can only describe as petting a cat and sewing the lines tight together.
Awesome, I like that.
Very cool.
So as Kodrog, as you hit the base, looking into the foresail, you see that the lines themselves dance together, twining together like a snake, and then untwining, and the rope is fine. Your hands now become your attention.
Yeah, there you go, straight into my armpits.
But do you smell?
All right.
Mary Catherine Gallagher as a dwarf.
Oh no.
The crew begins to retreat to gather warmer clothes, to warm up, to drink some grog, to insulate themselves against the temperature. As you have taken control of the situation,
I think I'm gonna do some will saves while you do that.
Anne is at the helm, manipulating the tiller sails and pulling on the pulley system from back where she's at as she manipulates, gains slack, and starts changing the course of the ship.
The
How's people?
The
How are they
lowest
doing?
was a 7 on
Lowest
the
was-
die.
That's That's probably Dimitri. He's kind of freaked out right about now. That was the scary moment.
Yeah. So people are still the rest of the crew, as they've gone through the loosening the lines, making sure the sails aren't whipping around in the fog. They're very nervous. You can feel the tension, like something. They're waiting for the other shoe to drop. When is this gray lady going to appear? And when are they going to have to fight for their lives?
Man, what did I do?
The first two shifts are also now informing third shift, and they're like, what are you talking about? That's not real. That's not real life. So you're hearing, Thomas, these miniature conversations of like tiny freakouts between different members of the crew. They're saying, that's just a story. And other was like, no, it's not. She said it. Oh, no, it's not. Thomas said it. And now it's happening. It has to be true.
I did nothing. Yeah. Thomas is really focusing on the situation at hand. He's gonna actually try to comfort Dimitri. If that's possible. I have diplomacy. Would that be the correct skill for this?
Yes.
Awesome. I'll roll and then
the other
make up.
If you're trying to like comfort him and bring him back around to aiding and the rest of the team, that's a leadership role.
Oh shit.
You should have leadership on there.
I think I do. But I think I have like 1 point in it.
Yes, it's still a leadership role. The DCs for most of those are it's like a motivational thing, like, you can do it.
You can do it.
I like the way you said that. It was going on Valley Girl, and I'm really into that.
So, diplomacy is negotiations and stuff like that,
that's
where
true.
leadership is like calling for to get out there.
That's true. I'm gonna roll and see how I do, or else Thomas is gonna have his social awkwardness kick in. 16, so 17, because I think I have a 1 in leadership.
Yeah, that will motivate somebody.
Sweet. Yeah, so he'll I'm assuming that Dimitri's kind of just shaken, like he's kind of wide-eyed and frozen, pun intended, because it's cold. And he'll just walk over and he'll gently put a hand on his cheek and he'll be like, okay, you're on the ship, you're grounded, everything's gonna be great, everything's gonna be fine. I need you to get up there with those lines, though. I can't do anything on the ground. I'm not as flexible as you. I'm gonna... Yeah, thank you. You're doing great. And he'll walk away and focus on mending those lines, and he'll just kind of, don't look at me type of thing.
You go back to concentrating on your animated line spell?
Yeah, I'm gonna check on the sails too, because since I have mending up, I want to make sure that I am on it if those sails snap.
Sure.
Great.
Alrighty then. About 5 minutes of activity of fighting with the frost and whatnot. The wind is kicking up as it's starting to die down. The fog itself is starting to dissipate. The cold isn't, so it's becoming more of a still cold. And Kodrog, as you were working the lines, you've rushed back. You drank him some hot grog. She threw some more grog on to cook it up for everybody. And then as you come right back out, you run to the front sail. Thomas, you've cast out another mend spell to assist, and it just stops. The cold begins to dissipate. You can see like a line, a wall begin to pass down the ship very quickly as the ship's, it's not moving as fast because the sails are very loose at this point in time. It's stiff. But as the ship is creeping along, Kodrog, you're at the front. And you're the first to see or feel. You feel more than anything. It feels like a hot breath coming across your face. The ice is frozen into your mustache and in your beard, large chunks. You can feel it on your eyelashes at this point in time as you've been fighting with the line. and then all of a sudden it feels like a fire drake is suddenly breathing down on you as you begin looking around trying to figure out what's going on. And you guys are coming out of this frosty cloud, probably about 20 to 30 miles, because it's within eye shot. You can see it. There's a star, and you're within close enough to feel the heat waves coming off of it. So you break out of this ice cloud, and then all of a sudden it's hot.
Oh my goodness.
Great.
Yeah, I start trying to get the gloves off.
Yeah, Thomas was like, "Ah, jeez." Like,
Yeah, because I can't let go of the line to take off my my wrap or anything. So
No, you can't. All right, the ship drifts. Bond calls out for everyone to hold. The captain calls out, "Everyone hold. Get ready to tighten the sails." Everybody. The captain the entire time has been standing next to you, Thomas.
oh, good, great.
He's still
That's
wearing
great.
he's wearing his normal greatcoat.
Sorry, what?
You do the captain's voice. I was going to see if you wanted to voice him. No? Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm working on other production stuff, so that's why I was like, if I'm the captain, I'm supposed to be captaining, so you should probably be Arthur.
Arthur. Fair enough. The captain's standing near you, and Arthur's calling for the lines to get ready to be pulled. Everybody ready hands. As it passes down the greatest length of the ship, and the tiller sails are the back end of the ship is the only part still frozen, Arthur gives the call out, all hands, full sails, full speed. And Anne starts cranking in. Jon, you're going to do another crewmanship roll. The DC, of course, this time is much easier. It's only a 10 instead of a 12. Are you aiding him with your magical lines?
Of course.
Okay.
in 19.
Excellent. Let's check out what the rest of the crew does. They're fine. When the ship clears the fog of ice, looking back over, although when you were in it, it seemed almost invisible, but now looking back over your shoulders, back down the length of the ship, you can see the white wall of frost that you guys were moving through. A voice calls out from one of the other masts. One of the lower sails have been damaged. We need to pull it and fix it. Arthur gives the call for that sail to be pulled in. So, because remember, there's masts all the way around the ship. It looks like a big upside-down tree umbrella-looking thing. And so Arthur calls for that sail to be fixed. The captain retreats to his study, and everything starts to calm back down on the ship. You guys, standing on deck, are really hot.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
I'm undoing my wrap shawl thing as soon as possible. Like, as soon as I've got hands free for enough time.
Okay.
Yeah, Thomas is unbuttoning his jacket.
All right. The ice melts off pretty quickly, and you guys break back down into lighter gear. Travel at this point is going to be should be a lot easier. Ahead of the ship, with just plain eyesight, you can't really see any physical objects in the way. You can see, just empty space, but like that wall of ice you guys just flew through, those things are invisible, and so it requires someone always being on deck.
Would I have any chance of guesstimating where we are in comparison to the other ship, like based on the calculations that I was helping with?
Yes. The previous calculations that you made, you guys are starting to get either caught up or slightly ahead. They're following a trade wind, and you guys are cutting off and using not trade winds to try to get ahead while taking advantage of magic spells, magic to kind of keep the speed going if things go wrong. At this point, it could easily be neck and neck, or you guys could be slightly ahead. So, yeah.
Okay. How many more days would we be trying to before we expect to meet up with them?
2 more days.
Okay.
So at this point in time, it's hang tight, and Anne should be. And when you look around, everything looks like it's normal, but you're the way you're moving. But you can tell by the way the ship's set up that you guys are slightly turning to the right in a big arc because the tiller sails and whatnot. So you guys are making a turn, but to the people on the boat, it just feels like you're going straight. Always going straight because there's not very many bearings to work with.
Yeah.
So,
So where are we at right now? I would say, do they see the other boat?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
It should be in range.
You anticipate that you can see the boat, but you haven't yet.
Yeah, because I'm showing. Even with the spyglass. So, the captain talking to Anne, where we or Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, by Anne's calculation and Kodrog's calculations, we're about 2 days from the trade winds before we intersect it. There is a small hold here that we'll be cutting by, but we estimate by their size that we'll be pulling in front of them. I'll make sure to have Fern ready the cannons along that side.
Excellent. I believe that we should probably approach the hold on the larboard side.
Aye, sir.
Just in case the trade winds catch us, we won't drift into them.
Aye, sir. I'll let Anne know. And so, I'm sure at some point, when Anne calls you in to check her number, she would let you know about the approach to the aisle, the hold that they're coming up to, as well as, chit-chat. So do we want to break down and do some little role-playing?
Yeah, so, you all are drifting, well, not drifting, the sails are back taut, the broken line has been fixed.
Magic.
And everything's being tightened back down. At this point, Dimitri is going to be taking a short rest, as that was a very stressful and precarious situation. Actually, Dimitri goes down to the dock, to Cyrix, to get checked out just to make sure that there was no permanent damage. In the meantime, Kodrog, you're kind of pulling double duty between your rigging and the midsail?
Midsail.
The midsail rigging, just to make sure that everything's good to go.
Okay.
The captain will retire to his quarters to work on whatever project that he has currently. He doesn't really share those with you guys because you're just riggers.
We're just the help.
You're just the help.
Is it wrong that I imagine that in that scene is in Spaceballs where he's playing with action figures? Like, that's exactly what I imagine.
Then you are going to be even more surprised when you finally discover what he is up to most of the time. However, is there anything that you all feel like you need to do in this moment as everything's calming down and getting back into the regular swing of things?
So on one of the breaks or something, when I'm getting like a cool drink, because now that it's hot on deck, in passing, when I if I ever came across Thomas, I would put a hand up on his shoulder and say, "That's why you don't tell ghost stories. You tell monster stories where the monster dies at the end. And no one's afraid of it."
Yeah, I'll remember that.
Awesome. So, with that, Kodrog seems to be right, Thomas, because ever since everything's kind of got back to normal, you've noticed that people are kind of, like, the rest of the crew is kind of, like, looking over at you, side-eyeing in a very, like, uncomfortable way. It feels like maybe the crew is kind of, or at least the crew that got to hear you tell your ghost stories, kind of uneasy with you and maybe still a little bit unsettled.
Yeah.
Kodrog,
Yeah.
as you go and do your own thing, you hear Inu discussing with one of the other crew members, who should be
Nibbly.
with Nibbly. He is explaining to Nibbly, like, this, he doesn't realize that Nibbly only talks in pictures, and so he's describing this thing in words, doing his best to communicate how, like, that was probably part of the Grey Lady's curse, and we were almost going to be goners, but thankfully we made it through before it was too late, or something.
Yeah, I'm sure he's talking along the lines of, you should have been there.
Yeah.
That wizard, the figure wiggler, he had said stuff about a ghost ship and the wind being cold, and they were afraid to be eaten. And of course, Nibbly is, whoa, eaten! No, he understands eating, you know, because he's Nibbly is a,
Yeah, is a new Terran.
so they all their words are in their heads, and so
If you can imagine, Inu is doing this great description verbally, but it's still all in his head. So you see that Nibbly turns like his like 100-eye gaze to you for a second before turning back. And if you could see surprise on a new Terran, how familiar are you with new Terrans, by the way?
Probably only vaguely familiar.
Okay, then he looks like he turns his head towards towards Thomas, and then turns back to the face Inu and does this like thing right there but he doesn't actually turn his head because his eyes are a little bit offset from his body itself, so you can see like the
eyes are shifting.
the eye shifts in sockets like that.
And the antenna is pulled back over his head and tucked along his back.
Yes, almost like how a dog would tuck his tail between his legs.
Yeah, and he's like stroking his antenna with his extra pair of arms.
Okay. So I'm only assuming that like cold patches in the void are not uncommon.
Correct.
So I'll, you know, as Inu's telling this whole story, I'll walk up and say, Inu, I didn't take you for such an inexperienced void sailor. I mean, the frost clouds are common.
Aye, they are. But when someone speaks of something and it happens, either the gods are listening or magic.
Yes, the god of coincidence. And then I'll walk away.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Thomas is he's gonna. I feel like in the next scene, his hat's already gone because I already took that off. And he'll just go back to his other duties, just tucked away in a little organization closet, and really focusing on that, trying to basically hide away from all these. Oh, it's magic, because he doesn't want to get into that right now.
Okay.
So, with that said, you are trying to avoid some of the crew, avoid the strange stares, let it all blow over. And you remember, there's a cat down below decks hunting all the rest of the rats. Maybe you can check on Bobo Fluffy Butt or whatever its name was.
That's
Bobo Fluff Fluff.
Nobody has gone down below deck. You and the bosun are responsible for everything down there. And the ship just got kind of frozen. And there's no heaters like are in the middle of the ship.
Yeah, Thomas will go do that.
Wait, are you have any kind of animal handling skill? As a game master, this is your first warning. No, there won't be a next warning next time.
I don't think I do. Let's see. Handle animal. Wherever I have written that down.
There would be a skill.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Yeah. All right, well, go ahead.
All right, thanks.
Do what
It's okay,
you want.
Bobo loves you.
I mean, it's kind of his job to do this, so he'll
Was it Bassianus or was it?
It was Bassianus and Kodrog who actually did it. He'll take Bassianus for sure.
Guess I couldn't remember which one actually helped that. So,
I do believe Kodrog was the one who made all the animal handling rules.
Yeah. Bassianus was there to help, but that was about it.
Well, perhaps Bassianus might be more skilled than he lets on.
Yeah. I mean,
he's very gentle.
They're both cats. They must have some sort of kinship.
I feel like Thomas would make. Thomas has been kind of racist lately, and that's only because of Paige's mind. But I feel like Thomas and Bassianus have that relationship where he kind of makes that joke, and Bassianus gives him this look, but he's like, "Oh, I'm kidding."
In public.
No, definitely. But yeah, he'll take Bassianus down to the cellar.
It's the hold.
Oh, right. Sorry, the hold. Yeah.
All right.
And he'll check on Bobo Fluff Fluff.
All right. So you go up to the door.
That's my favorite character, by the way, Bobo Fluff Fluff.
Bobo Fluff Fluff.
You go up to the sealed hatch. You guys have been down into the deck below this one, but this is the storage deck because the deck below that is, where the sails. The middle deck is where the sails come out, and the deck below is storage. So you get down there, and the door's sealed because you guys put the little seal lock onto it. It helps keep water from flooding in and stuff. So it's been at least 2 days since this door's been open. Maybe three. Oh man, how long have you guys been out? So
I think 3.
What do you do?
I'll open up the hatch.
All right.
Is it dark down there?
Extremely. There is no light down there. In fact, the light is pretty dim here as well. Good news, Bassianus can see in low light.
Ladies first. And he'll wave towards the door for Bassianus.
There's no light down there. We should probably get some light. And he'll reach out and kind of like make gesture towards your hands and then do the whole thing like this. But he's doing it low, so if anybody's looking, you won't see him making the finger wiggly sign.
Yeah. Thomas
Gives him basically the look I just gave to you.
He basically just does this, and he has light, so
he'll just cast light on his I guess a sword, because he has a sword.
Okay.
You're gonna draw a sword on Bobo?
Well, maybe that's not a good idea. Thank you. He'll cast light on his hands. Then I'll just have glowy hands for a while.
Like flash, and then you can like close your hand. So
yeah,
it's like
it's like Iron Man basically.
Maybe like a little flashlight. All right, you do so, and the light casts down into the hold, filled with barrels and crates and extra tarps and mast materials, as well as tar and a collection of things. There's a smell that comes out of the turpentine that you guys use to clean deck and stuff like that. So that's the strongest smell down in there. Luckily, the food is kept in another location down here, but it's been recently moved. Anyways, door opens. You can smell turpentine and something else, a little bit not so nice. It smells like something dead.
Well, it could be all those rats.
Could be.
Thomas pulls up his scarf because he doesn't want to smell that shit.
Okay.
And he'll go first because he's lit up.
All right. Descending down the short flight of stairs, you can see that there is shit near the entranceway. Rat feces has collected in this area. You can see like a little bin off to one side, and you can hear the ship's noise, and you're very attuned to it, but you can also hear other noise too. Your light begins casting around. It's an area effect, so if you hold your hand out, it goes all the way around you, because, I'm assuming the light's on your palm.
Yeah,
so you can
definitely.
do like this, and light goes everywhere, and so you're shining. And you're looking through the crates and whatnot, and as your light casts across this really eerie-looking place filled with crates and barrels, you see Bobo.
and he is sitting on top of some crates a distance away. He has taken some tarps, and he's messed with them and turned them into a slight little nest. As the light casts upon him, he looks up and almost smiles at you.
Hi, Bobo. How's it going? I see you made your little house.
Yes. You can see that he looks slightly not okay. Maybe he's not doing okay. Looks like he's been beat up a little bit. There's blood on him.
Are you sure it's his blood, though?
You probably have to get closer to test that theory.
Also, I must interject, as I was going to grab a drink for myself,
Mm-hmm.
why are we not calling this cat Boba Fluff?
Oh my god. Or, fun fact, my sister owns a cat named Bo. So we call him Bobo, and we call him Bobo Baggins whenever he runs off.
That's great. I love it.
Because this cat is like a hunter of
Yeah.
things, so...
Bobo Fluff.
Boba Fluff?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I didn't mean to just derail things.
No,
but-
that's fine.
So yeah, he doesn't look so good.
Yeah, Thomas will kind of nudge Bassianus, and he goes, "You know me, I'm not good with living things. It's your time to shine, kitty cat."
Fine. All right, so he begins, come on, let's go. He begins to walk ahead of you. Just like, now there's shadow, and he grabs your hand, and he's trying to use your hand like it's a flashlight. So you're
This
behind
way.
him, your big spoon to his little spoon, while he's trying to, and he's trying to shine your hand around, and as you get closer, the cat stops what it's doing, and he starts to kind of like stand up, and
Mhm.
his eyes aren't. Do you want to do that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We're talking about the rats, not Boba.
Yeah.
Though,
Yeah, that's right. Yes. His eyes aren't on you.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
His eyes aren't on you.
Where are they?
They're behind you. They're looking past you into the darkness.
You see his golden orbs as they reflect in the light that Bassianus is controlling with your hand. And at first you thought that he was not happy to see you.
Yeah.
But you hear and almost feel like the deep growl of this cat as it like just reverberates through the air. And at first you're like, oh my gosh, we should probably just go upstairs. But then you realize he's not looking at you. He's looking past you.
Does he? Does Bobo Fluff do that thing where he, cats look at birds and they go meh, meh, meh?
Except it's growling except it's scary instead of cute.
Fair enough.
They have a word for that. It's like rasping or something. It's like this weird sound.
Yeah, my cat does that to me occasionally. I'm used to it. She's very much a bitch. But anyway, she's sleeping on my bed right now, actually. She's a sweetheart. But Thomas will just kind of his hands being held, and he just looks up at Bassianus and goes, "I think there's something behind us."
Bassianus is smart for who he is, but we're giving you this information because you're intelligent. So Bassianus is going to stop, look around for a minute, and what are you doing? He's making a perception roll. Do you want to roll for Bassianus?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a perception roll as well.
Sure.
Oh!
16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
20. Although you're being jerked around by him, and he's trying to look at the same time, looking back over you guys' shoulder through the crowd of boxes, you see a rat heading in your direction.
Just a normal rat? Or like...
Hang on. The rat does not seem to be moving like a normal rat. It's not skirting. It's not running and hiding from the light. It's heading straight for you,
And
the light source. You notice that it kind of...
But it's not running.
Yeah.
It's got... As it gets closer to you, you realize it doesn't have back legs, and it's crawling forwards on its two front paws.
And these are New York-sized rats.
Yeah,
these aren't
these
like
are-
tiny little, oh, it's adorable. This is about the size of a normal house rat.
Rodents of unusual sizes? I don't believe in
Yeah,
them.
almost. But not
Yeah, Thomas is I'm gonna try something before I pull up my blade. I'm gonna close my hands to see if I can shut off the light.
Sure. You can definitely do that.
I'm hoping Bassianus can see.
With that dim light, yeah, he can still see, but he's got negatives. Keshians have low light, but they don't have good low light.
Okay.
As you close your hands, he will say, it's still coming right for us. That thing is badly injured. There's a hole in its side and its guts are trailing. And it's not alone. Another one has come out, he'll say. There's another one. What's wrong with them?
Are they all injured?
Yeah, he says, yes, they are. At this point in time, he's no longer holding your hand. He's actually stepping back at this time. He didn't bring a weapon down here. All he's got is his fists.
Thomas will pull out his blade very slowly and carefully hand it to Bassianus because he's more skilled in a blade than I am.
Okay. All right. At some point, they continue their move forward. Do you want to do anything? You've given a sword to Bassianus. I'm giving you another round of action.
I'd like to not damage the ship with any of my spells.
What you need?
Yeah, whatever you do, don't do a fireball.
Well, it's like
Touch of combustion.
no. Thunderstomp, no. Snowball might be okay, but no.
Yeah, how do you use your powerful magical spells inside this confined compartment where everything is precious?
Lightning bolt.
Touch spells, baby. I'm gonna use
All
Jolt.
right. So you're gonna prep a spell?
Yes.
Initiative.
Okay.
They charge. As they get close enough, their speed drastically increases.
Great.
Nice one.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. 15.
All right. And Bassianus?
Bassianus got a 12.
He's got a 12.
Plus whatever.
2. All right, so you get to go first, Thomas.
Sweet. I am using Jolt. Just bear with me because I will pull that up
Okay.
to give you the details of what it does because I'm pretty sure. God.
Do you need help
Google.
finding it?
It's just my computer likes to do this thing where it doesn't open up to Google, it opens up to Yahoo. And Yahoo doesn't understand that Pathfinder exists. So whenever I type in spells, it's like, are you looking for this? And it's like, no.
No.
Wicked rituals for culling the moon. What? No.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much like that. All right.
All right, I want to remind you, this is the only time I will remind you, in the pre-discussion of this game, all ranges of spells are doubled while you're in the void. Durations are doubled as well. So this spell will do twice the distance and twice the effect, just to let you know. And remember, in the Shattered Isles, all spells have a larger effect, period.
Oh, shit.
Good.
All right. So the range on it is 25 feet plus 5 feet for every 2 levels. Your 3rd level. So that's at least 60 feet-ish of a lightning bolt.
No, that doesn't mean it has to go 60 feet. It just means if the rat was 60 feet away, you'd still be able to hit it.
And now that you're in the void, we double that so you can reach out and touch something 120 feet distance with this tiny little spell.
Oh my god.
My goodness.
Yes.
Reach out and jolt something.
All right, you're gonna jolt it because it's a touch attack.
Yeah.
All right, roll the hit. You roll, add in your dexterity and your base attack.
Great. See, I recently wrote everything down on a piece of paper.
Called your character sheet.
It's a ranged touch attack, so
Yes.
it's more like you point your fingers and it's
Yeah.
like whoop, like you're sending out a static electricity bolt.
Yeah.
Except you can send it really far away.
I'm sorry, you said
Dex plus base attack.
Dex plus base attack. Great.
I have no dex.
My score is 10.
So you
Not
have no
my
dex
modifier.
bonus, right? And so you most likely your base attack is a 1 because you're a
Yep.
3rd level wizard.
Mhm.
So
Yep, it
pretty
is.
much roll a dice and add 1. And you're trying to hit these slow-moving, badly injured, guts hanging out rats.
Fair enough. Come on, baby. 11.
All right, that's a no. It's a 12.
Damn it.
So you shoot the first one, hitting the deck and doing a D3 in damage to the deck. Not much. That's not enough. The wood itself is more resistant to anything. Bassianus' turn. He's going to step forward with the sword and try to quickly poke one as harshly as he can to kill it.
All right.
It's going to be 2 plus 2. That's a 12.
Yes.
So he stabs it. Can you roll the D8 and add 2 to that?
Yeah. 6.
6 points of damage. Bassianus steps
Yay.
forward hesitantly and jabs the sword into the rat's skull, pinning it to the deck.
Nice.
And then he's going to wedge the sword and pull it back. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out so well. The rat is now impaled onto the blade. All right.
And as he brings it up, the rat slides
Slides down.
on the rim, but it's still wiggling.
All right. Now it's
Oh,
the rat's
God.
turn. The rat sees the light and makes a charge attack against you. It is a
Great.
+2 from charge, +2 from its base attack, +2 from its dex, with a +6 in total. So it gives a 16 to hit you.
I'm going to say that hits me because my AC right now is 10.
Yes, your ace, because you're not armored, you don't have any protective magic up. The rat gets close enough, it lunges with all its might and digs its nasty gnarled teeth into the fatty bit of your guts.
I don't want to become a zombie.
Roll a d3.
Okay. 1.
1 point of damage. What is your fortitude bonus to saves?
Which kind of saves?
It's a
Just any kind?
It's called fortitude.
Oh, I'm sorry, fortitude.
I blanked out for a moment.
1.
All right. Can we go ahead and roll that then? This is a save that the
Does
game
it-
master rolls.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was going to say, I can roll it if you want.
No, it's okay. Oh, man. Okay. So the rat leaps out and bites a hold of you into your shirt and whatnot. You can feel it tear into you. It hurts.
It hurts a lot.
It's your action.
Is it near me?
It's on you. It's bitten a hold.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm just going to try taking it off and chucking it.
Okay. Roll your CMB. That should be
Of
combat.
course.
Yes.
Da. 3.
All right. You are not able to grapple a hold of it and pull it off. And in your flailing,
Yeah.
I don't think it's smart enough to bite at the hand as it comes in. No, so I don't think so. Yeah. All right.
No.
So now it's Bassianus' turn. He's going to drop the sword because it has a badly injured, head skewered rat. And he's like in shock. So he's going to make a will save.
Okay. Rolled an 8, natural 8.
He's probably got, let's see, 1 there, +2, 3, 11. Yeah, no, he's unnerved by this rat still moving. He'll come back to you, try to grab the one off you, but he's got a -2 to do so.
It's okay.
Can you go ahead and roll for his grab and throw the rat maneuver?
19.
19! So he comes up and he
Oh.
backhands the rat off you, sending it flying into some
My
carts nearby.
hero.
The rat will take a D3 in backhand damage.
6. No, 3.
3
Yeah.
+2 from his strength. The rat flies, hits a crate, hits the ground, rolls a little bit. Its head is now cockeyed and leaned to one side and dragging as the rat now picks itself up on its action and starts to head back towards you. So it's dragging its head.
Great.
All right, it's your action.
This ship is made out of wood. Can't burn it.
Nope.
I mean, that's one way to get rid of the rats.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
there we
thinking of
go.
like, I'm trying to use, because I know this would take a turn if I use any knowledge skills that I have. So I'm trying to do knowledge skills in Paige's head that Thomas would naturally have. And I can't think of anything at the moment.
Knowledge Arcana, knowledge religion is what these creatures fall under.
Knowledges. Let's see. You said also religion?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do a knowledge arcana, because that's my highest.
I got a natural 1. 9.
You are too terrified
These
to
rats
think
are
at this point in time. You know they
Fuck
have...
me!
There's no... Your options are undead, some sort of ooze, or an outworldly creature that has no natural organs. But at this point, you can't figure that out because it bit you. You're probably diseased.
Yep.
It's still coming after you. All right. So I'll let you do an action at a -2.
Awesome. Yeah, I
guess I'll just use Jolt again, because
Alright.
that's
Try to hit.
my safest. That's my safest bet right now. 9.
You're panicked, so you're letting loose more electrical sparks. This time you almost hit Bassianus. He's like, "Watch what you're doing!" As he's trying to push you away and get away from these things because they're still coming. Their turns. The one with the broken head will fly at you. It'll just like charge up and slap onto you while the head's trying to bite. It's got like a -4 to succeed. Do you want to roll this? You need to.
You roll it, please.
I got this. No, because that's an 8 in total. So it's trying to flop its broken head onto you. The one on the sword, on the other hand, still wiggling. It's on the ground, and so it's just going in circles. At the end of this round, Bocephus jumps down onto the one that tried to slam into you, bites his jaw into its head, rips it with a quick snap, and drops it onto the ground.
Woo, Bobo!
Bo. That's right. I'm using his old name. All right, so Bo severs the rat's head, and has a, like I said, that not okay look in his face.
Mm.
All right,
We're gonna have a zombie kitty.
Yeah. What do you want to do? It's your turn again. Bassianus spent his last action trying to push you out of the way and trying to recover from his fear.
Do I have anything on me that can decapitate these motherfuckers?
The only one left right now is on the sword, and you don't know if there are more in this place that might be heading your direction.
You
could always run.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna grab Bassianus and say, you know what, Bobo can help himself, and pull him along.
All right. You flee from the scene, heading back up the stairs, shutting the door behind you. Pathetically, as you're doing so, the pathetic cat, who seems to be not okay, moves in the direction toward the stairs, almost as if he's following you.
I'm gonna allow it.
You're gonna allow it?
I'll allow it.
You're not gonna. Okay.
No.
He will come up the stairs, and when he gets to the top of the stairs, he collapses.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It is not his. It is his blood. He has been bitten multiple times by these things.
Is he still breathing?
You can see him breathing, but you're not a doctor. You don't know how to.
Well,
diagnose
you can tell if someone's breathing. Yeah. Thomas is going to attempt to carry him to the doctors immediately.
All right. At this point in time, we're going to call for a break as we take a short break from the game.
Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Refill our drinks.
Yes.
And then we will be back in 10 minutes
Woo.
to hopefully, finally, catch up with our quarry.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right.
Back in 10.
Back in